And like Eric said, that was really important, man. Like if you're a guy with a family, man, then you are and you have a job like that, you are winning.
Yes.
You are winning. A 10-minute commute to your job, if you have a family, that is perfect.
The X post says this is basically selling your soul. It's so pointless. Now, this is the day in the life of a middle class man. I wanted to play this for you guys and get your thoughts. If this is truly selling your soul. So let's see what we got here. One thing I do want you to keep an eye on is he works 9 to 5 in insurance, and pay attention to the times of the day here. Okay. Think when everything happens. Also D-Day, failed to mention that. That's important. Yeah. He has a 10-minute commute to work. Takes lunch at 11 o'clock. Heads out to a company picnic at noon. Logging off at 4 o'clock. Gets home already at 4:30. Picks up Whataburger.
How is this guy not 1,000 pounds?
The general response to this has been overwhelmingly negative. The idea of like, this is the worst life you could possibly live. This is the response on X because of this. So first, before I give you my thoughts on this, what are y'all's thoughts on this idea of like the 9 to 5 being a bad thing?
I used to do that. That's not a big deal.
I just think people don't want to work anymore.
Yeah.
They just don't want to work. Like these youngsters, like, because I assume they're young, these people who are complaining. Mm-hmm. They just don't want to work because that looked like a normal guy with a normal life. He's not a streamer. He's not trying to be like an actor. He's just a regular dude.
Yeah. I'm with you on that. And like, look, the 9 to 5 is not something that like I'm built for, right? But I've done it before. I've lived it before. I understand it before, right? And I understand every aspect of it. I know that I am a horrible employee. Right? I've come to that realization about myself. But I don't think any shade should be thrown at this guy at all for putting this together. I mean, like, there's this Tony Tones says, what's crazy that although this looks depressing, he still does better than 90% of people, right? He's got a wife, car, kid, pet, logs off at 4 o'clock and he's only a few minutes from the office.
Wait, it didn't show anything about a wife.
Well, that's true.
It didn't either.
That's true. Yeah. That's true. But
everything else is fine.
I was like, if you add like a wife or a girlfriend to that, yeah, that's a great life. I don't see anything wrong with that. Especially you getting home by 4.
Yeah.
And the guy is, contrary to what he was eating. I mean, he looked pretty fit. So I mean, he looked like he can like go out and get a girl if he wanted to.
And it wasn't a 9 to 5 if he was home by 4, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it depends on what time he started. Right?
And you had a 2-hour break.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So if the company picnic, that would still be on work hours and all that, I'm assuming, because you're still at work. But it would still be 1 hour break, which is pretty damn good. I personally have never had a 1 hour break.
I used to have 30 minutes, and that was it back in the day.
Yeah, me too.
Well, I remember working in the .com era, man, and they would have these beer parties all the time and these weird like company things where it was on their time. You weren't getting docked for it. So I kind of get it. I mean, sometimes companies do stuff like this to keep morale up. So he was still working. So technically he had a regular lunch break. Again, I question some of the shit he was eating.
Right.
Yeah, I'm like, you can't be eating that every day. Maybe once in a while, but Yeah,
Yeah, you can't
especially
go from donuts to sliders
Yeah.
to, you know,
to burgers.
Whataburger.
Yeah, fast
Super
food.
unhealthy.
You know, I had Whataburger for the
And it's
first time
super
a few weeks ago.
expensive too. If you think about all the like every time he goes out, how much money that is to spend on food all the time instead of just, you know, meal prep at home, which is cheaper and everything. It's crazy how much money he spends. I
About
personally have
$50 a
never
day,
really I've never really done a 9 to 5. I've done it for like a couple of weeks, but then I just never I quit that job because it was way too much, to be honest. Not because like it was too much, but because I was in physical therapy at the same time, so it was like a whole other case. But I used to do like I would get up at like 4 a.m. for work multiple times for different jobs, and I wouldn't be done. We'd get in trouble because we would work more than 8 hours a day at work,
Right.
and they'd be like, "No, you guys gotta go home." But yeah, so I've never really done the whole 9 to 5. It was usually more or less.
So,
Yeah.
so what are the negative things they're saying about him?
Well, a lot
Yeah.
of people. The biggest one I saw, and this is probably the most insane one out of all of them, and they've been ratioed here. But how is this not slavery?
Huh?
What?
Come on now.
But you're getting paid. Do they not understand what slavery is? What the fuck?
Right.
And
Uh,
he's got a house, and the vehicle looks pretty decent. You know,
And
it's
he has
some
some
SUV.
and he goes to company picnics. How is this slavery, y'all?
Yeah, he's
Right.
got a laptop, a nice bathroom.
Nice looking. Yeah, even the bathroom's pretty nice. I'm like,
Yeah,
look at that.
everything was nice, like clean, new, modern, however you want to call it. No, that's not what
So
slavery is.
what do they call slavery? I mean, what is that these days?
It means
If
a
you
regular
have to
job.
work?
Right.
That's what it means.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it means you get paid to work for somebody else, and then the corporate
Oh.
overlord takes all their money and you know and does all the bad things
Change
with
to
it.
society.
Freaking commies.
Listen, I get if like that guy is not happy with his job. I get that. Maybe he doesn't feel fulfilled or something like that, right? But like, I think people seem to miss point that sometimes
What
you
did
just
he
gotta
title
do the
it?
job.
That video was taken from somewhere else, so there was no.
Okay.
It was just a day in the life of a middle class man, right?
But also, who's to say that he doesn't like his life, man? Like,
Yeah,
you know,
exactly.
some people are built for the 9 to 5, man.
Yeah.
Look, I'm not, but I've worked many 9 to 5s, many of them. I've worked, you know, swing shift, I've worked graveyard shift, I've worked all kind of shifts. So I mean, I'm not built for it, but some people really are office people. Some people just love going to the office every day. Like they like the routine of it.
Bingo.
Yeah,
Mhm.
and who's to say this guy's unhappy?
And some
What-
people dream of a 9 to 5. If you've ever worked retail, a 9
yeah.
to 5 is retail workers' dream instead of randomly working at one day 6 to
Yeah.
this time, or another one the graveyard shift, another one midday, and then you have nothing. You know, you waste the morning, you waste the evening, you just go home. Yeah, a lot of people like that.
Well, I do have a photo of the person who said, "How is this not slavery?" This is actually a photo of him right here. So you know, there's that.
Ah,
Of course.
No, I'm just kidding. That's actually not it. No.
probably still does.
The Antifa member over there. But this guy points out, like, so this dude works 6 hours total, then gets off while it's still sunny out. This isn't selling your soul. This is life on
That's
easy
great.
mode,
Yeah.
right?
And like you can leave all your work problems, right? And then you can go and enjoy the rest of your day. You have your
Yes.
weekends and everything. You can do a hobby. So if you don't feel like your actual job is fulfilling you, you go find some hobby or do something that does fulfill you on your time off. And like I feel like people just don't understand that, right? They just be like, I'm miserable at work, therefore I'm unfulfilled. It's like, no, go find something else to do. You should be finding like a happy balance, you know?
You know what? But
Getting off at
it makes
full-
me wonder
sorry.
what are they teaching these people in college, right? Like, are they telling them like? Because I don't get it. Like, I was always taught that, hey, you know what? You work hard, you know, and then you play hard, right? It's like it's not everyone's going to have their dream job, right? Like they're just not. Not everyone's going to be a star. Not everybody's going to be, you know, a millionaire. You know, I don't know what they're teaching them now.
Yeah. Well,
See, one thing I notice about that is people are always complaining about work-life balance. He's getting off at 4. He's got
Yes.
work in the morning,
Yeah, he
and then has
to
a
balance.
great time for social life. So he's got a great balance there, and people are
Yeah.
complaining. I'm like, oh, he's got what everybody wants. Let's complain about that now.
Mm-hmm.
of course. And Eric July points out from Ripperburst, obviously, am I tripping or is this not decent life? Works a desk job from 8 to 4, short commute to work. If you include the company picnic, he basically got a 2-hour lunch/break. What am I missing here? Because
Yeah.
I think a lot of this is first world problems, but also goes beyond this. There seems to be a generation of people that began to associate employment with quote fun and fulfillment, expecting jobs to give you the purpose.
Mm.
Unless you're an owner or investor in the company, your job is a means to an end. It's not meant to quote be fun. As a man, ideally, you're providing for yourself and your family, which in itself should give you purpose and fulfillment. It's not the other way around. I don't know what university professors convinced a bunch of people that their job should give them purpose. Even if you're lucky enough to work the job you quote enjoy, there will be mundane, unfun aspects of it. It's a job after all, right? And look, there's things that here at Side Scrollers, we have things that aren't fun to do. We have to do them. It's just part of it, right? We have a fun job, I would say. We get to hang out with you guys on a day-to-day basis, but we're always doing things in the background. But I think what Eric says there is a lot of truth. There's a lot of people. You know what I think really ruined it for a lot of folks is when you look at like the tech space and you see there's just snacks everywhere. Like I think of when I went to the Twitch office in San Francisco. Like it's not even real life. They have a room that is dedicated for massages there. Yeah, they have a massage therapist on staff. Endless snacks. It's like going to an adult playground on a day-to-day basis.
I worked at Microsoft, and when we would go into our break room, you can open up the cabinets and see all kinds of like, we've got healthy stuff. Dude, it's full of snacks and, junk food.
And I used to work for Yahoo back in the day when they were a thing. And man, they had like a full-on restaurant inside the camp. It was like a campus. It was like Google basically. And they would have actual chefs come and cook the food for us there. And you had your break room with video games, and then you had another room like full of like snacks, stuff like that, and sodas and different kinds of coffees. And I think there was an actual Starbucks inside the campus. So that we got all this stuff for free. And I think people got spoiled on stuff like that. Again, I kind of equate it back to the .com era when they kind of started this whole bubble of, hey, go to work and have a good time and ride on scooters inside the office and throw like, balls at each other and weird shit like that.
Stop throwing them balls.
Like those Chuck E. Cheese balls where they would just like throw them at each other and
Right. Well, it's such an interesting conversation, right? Like that's the thing is different strokes for different folks. And some people really enjoy, as you said, the routine of that every single day, knowing they're going to have an opportunity to work out at this time, knowing that they are going to get off every day at this time. Whereas, oftentimes when you are your own boss, you don't have those luxuries. You can try to schedule your life, but at the end of the day, you're the dude or you're the woman who has to make those decisions, right? And it's.
And like Eric said, that was really important, man. Like if you're a guy with a family, man, then you are and you have a job like that, you are winning.
Yes,
you are winning. A 10-minute commute to your job. If you have a family, that is perfect.
Yep. Family.
First of all, I'm sorry. 10-minute commute, you're already winning.
Yeah,
dude,
you're winning just from that.
Yeah.
Shoot, I don't even have a 10-minute commute to the store.
Yes.
Rod says, as a 7 to 4 worker, seeing his videos shows he's happy and enjoying life his way. Nowadays, people don't want to work and be a dumb influencer. There you go, Rod.
That is true.
A Mercenary says 9 to 5 is amateur hours. Try 7 a.m. to 10 p.m. I'm doing that hours with 2 jobs just to break even with no breaks or vacation and commie.
I feel you, brother, on that. I feel you, man.
Dude, get out of there, man.
Yeah, there are a couple of
I'm
states
trying,
that
dude.
don't
I'm
have
planning my
income
exit
tax.
strategy as we speak.
Just go to Nevada, man. Just go next door. It's
Florida.
way better. Yeah,
no, we don't need any more people in Florida.
People are leaving Florida.
We're packed. Ooh.
Hey,
I hope the commies okay.
Vegas is coming up in price too, though, now. So, I mean, it used to be a pretty cool place to live.
Commodore Van says, I'm so sick of these kids who don't want to work. Me, 7:30 a.m. to 4, Monday through Friday for 20 plus years for a nonprofit for seniors. I love it. Dude is a normal man. That's right. That's why I wanted to talk about it. Like that's the essence of a normal man right there. Emperor Creatine says, a reminder that the day in the life of a Twitter employee video that came out a couple years ago, full restaurant with chefs, yoga rooms, meeting pods, red wine on tap, and rooftop gardens.
What work did they actually do? Like,
Exactly.
seriously, what work did they do? Not one bit of work in that entire video. What was your job?
Yes. Kratos says, agree hard with Eric. Find purpose. I spent the first half of my career chasing the job that I enjoyed, so I'd never have to work a day in my life. Now I'm happy doing work to fund my purpose-driven life. That's right. And I think that's very true with men in general, is you need to have some sort of purpose, right? You got to have that purpose. You see that where oftentimes when people reach retirement age, like their life kind of spirals a little bit because they don't have meaning anymore. But you see a lot of people, you look at people who are wildly successful, they never stop working. Like the idea that they can stop working, but they have purpose and they continue to work. They're always building something.
I mean, Warren Buffett is still working.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That was like my grandfather. He retired twice, and he probably worked until maybe a year or two before he passed away. And that's just what he always did. And that's
different mindset.
Well, and that's the thing too. Usually, like right after retirement, they don't stay around very long. You know what I mean? It's like, I think when a man loses his purpose, he just kind of, passes away.
He was only off for a year and then went back to work part-time, so he didn't lose the retirement or anything, but he was still working.
Yep. Almost Ward says, this guy's lucky. I'm working 5 a.m. to 3:30 hours here. Oh, man.
Yeah, that's brutal.
Get up, man. Gabriel says, leave my house to go to work at 5 a.m. Don't get back until 6 or 7. These people are weak. There you go, Gabriel.
I remember those days.
Your dad said you should watch this next video, and you don't want to disappoint Dad, do you?